See if we're able to get people on. I got a message from somebody saying you guys weren't able to hear me, but I got a message from somebody else saying it was working. So we'll see if we're able to get people back on here. Hi, Makai. Hi, Angel. So can you guys tell me on the chat, is it working okay for you? Were you able to hear me? Hi, Isabella. Makai, was it working for you? It's a bit laggy, but you could hear me through all of it? All right, it did tell me that my chat wasn't working, so I wonder if that's when it stopped working. Hi, Kamari. So can one of you tell me where the last place you heard was? Hey, Abby. So frustrated that this keeps happening. I don't know what the deal is. Were you able to hear any of it, or was like the majority of it not working? Because I need to know where I need to start. Okay, they were on the 100th question. That helps. So I'm going to go back to that part. Okay. We didn't hear anything. We were online, but it wasn't working. So I think this kind of, because I know it worked for some people. It worked for some people, but it didn't work for others. I think the best option is probably just to start the chapter over. Sorry about that. So again, the question is, what does Melody learn about working with others as she prepares for the quiz competition? Also, what does she learn about herself? All right, we will start the chapter over. It's frustrating. All right, chapter 20. I was right about the weather today. I hope the little crocus buds have tiny wool blankets because the temperature dipped back down to the 30s, and our classroom was chilly when we rolled in this morning. The public addresses blared the usual Monday morning announcements about bake sales and soccer practice. Most of the time, nobody in H5, not even Mrs. Shannon, pays much attention to them. The craziness of our morning usually takes over. Miss Shannon had managed to get us a Wii game system. I don't know how. Willie loves the baseball program. I have learned to keep out of his way while he pretends to hit the ball as he watches the screen. Sometimes his swings go wide. A hit! He'll cry out in triumph. Then he'll try to run the bases in the classroom. Even Freddie can't keep up with him. I usually sit in the corner with my headphones on, trying to tune it all out. But today I listened carefully to the bulletin. Hi, Keller. My heartbeat sped up and I jerked my arms with excitement as I heard the principal say, "All students who wish to try out for the WizKids team, please report to Mr. Deming's room after school." I stayed nervous all day. I didn't tell Rose what I planned to do. I thought about it, then decided not to. Suppose she said it was a stupid idea. I didn't think I could handle that. Then I spilled tomato soup all over the front of my blouse at lunchtime. Even though Catherine tried to clean it up, you can't just get red stuff off of a white shirt. I felt like a slob. I wish I had thought of that this morning. I could have told Mom to pack a change of clothes for me. It's still hard to remember that I can say stuff now. I didn't go out of the inclusion classes all day. I wanted to study until the last minute, but as soon as the last bell rang, I grabbed Catherine's shirt and said, "Hurry!" I typed to Mr. D's room. Even though I'm in the electric chair, we set it to manual so she could push me. I'm too nervous to drive. When we arrive at Mr. Deming's room, a group of kids from my class are already there, whispering together and going over note cards. They look up in surprise when Catherine wheels me in. "Hi, Melody," Rose says. "What are you doing here?" Her voice doesn't sound as friendly as usual. "Quiz team," I type. "She can't be on the team," I heard Claire whisper to Jessica, wrinkling up her nose. "She's from the retard room." Molly thinks that's really funny. She screeches like a blue jay when she laughs. I decide to ignore them even though I feel my anger rising. I have to stay focused. Several more students file into the room from both grades 5 and 6. I don't know the 6th graders very well. They have different recess times. I wonder if they're smarter. They've had more time to learn stuff. A few kids point at me and whisper. When Mr. Deming hurries in, carrying a sack of papers sealed in plastic, he scans the room to see who's here. He frowns slightly when he sees me, but he sets the test papers on his desk and greets us all. "Welcome," he says. "I'm so glad that so many of you have chosen to try out for the competition this afternoon. It's going to be challenging as well as fun. Are there any questions before we get started?" Connor, of course, raises his hand. "Yes," Connor says with a sigh. I get pizza and stuff during practice like that. "Don't you think you need to make the team first?" His friend Rodney yells out. "Rodney is right. Let's do it at a time." Mr. Deming lifts the stack of papers from his desk and holds them like a treasure. I hold in my hand the official questions from the National WizKids headquarters in Washington, D.C. "I will be reading questions to you just as it's done in real competitions." And then he stops and stares. Everyone looks around to see what he interrupted him. It's me. Mr. Deming taps on the papers for a moment, clears his throat, and addresses Catherine. "You know, I don't think it's appropriate for Melody to be here. This is not a recreational activity just for fun. The purpose of this meeting is to choose our team." He isn't even speaking to me. He's looking right over my head at Catherine, as if I were invisible. Now, I'm really mad. I turn up the volume on my machine very loud. "I'm here to take the test." Mr. Deming blinks. "Melody, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but this test is very hard. I'm very smart. I just don't want you to be hurt, Melody." He sounds sincere, sort of. "I'm tough," I type. "You go, girl," Rose suddenly says from the front of the room. A few other kids clap in their support. That makes me feel a little better, just a little. Catherine speaks up. "By law, she cannot be excluded. You know that, sir." "Yes, but read the question, students, just as you had planned. They'll write their answers on their notebook paper. Melody will record her answers, then print them out for you." "How do we know you won't be helping her?" Claire asked. "Because I won't be in the room." "Too bad, because you might need some help." Catherine grins at her, but Claire just looks away. I tell Catherine, "Go now." I almost push her away. "Thank you." "Your mom is coming to pick you up?" "Yes." "Good luck, Melody. You're my champ, no matter what. You got that?" Got it. I wave as she leaves the room. Mr. Deming shrugs his shoulders and continues with the directions. There are 100 quiz questions. I will read each promptly one time and each answer only once. You have 30 seconds to record each. Please only write the capital letter A, B, C, or D, and sometimes E. Are there any questions? Claire hand shoots up. Yes. How do we know Melody doesn't have answers stored in her machine? Her normal people aren't allowed to use computers. Why are you so worried about Melody? Rose answers, but he has a chance to. Are you get a higher score than you? No way. Then you better be quiet so we can get. Mr. D smiles at Rose. Students, get out 2 sheets of paper, one to write on, one to cover your answers. We believe in honesty, but an extra sheet of paper can't hurt. Everyone shuffles to find papers and pens, and a feeling of quiet expectation falls in the room. Mr. Deming unseals the official test and opens the first page. Again, he says, his voice sounding very. Number 1, the capital of Colombia is. Everybody scribbles their answers. I punch in the letter C. Good old Miss V and her capital quiz cards. Number 2, Mr. Deming continues. Gerontology is the study of A, the elderly, B, germs, C, germs, D, rocks and jewels. I punch the letter A. So far, so good. The continues for the next 30 minutes or so. He asks questions about atoms and clouds, fish and mammals, about famous religions and dead presidents. Some of the questions I'm sure of. I guess on a couple. The math questions make me sweat. This is the hardest, most exciting thing I've done. The very last question is a killer. At number 100, Mr. D says, relief in his voice, the small intestine of an average adult, if stretched out vertically, would measure about how long? 8 to 12 inches. A, B, 1 to 2 feet, C, 5 to 7 feet, or D, 20 to 23 feet. I punch in the letter D. Hoping I've guessed right and breathe a sigh of relief. It was over. Pencils down, please, Mr. Deming tells us. Make sure your name is on your paper, then cover it with the cover sheet and pass it on to me. As everyone gathers papers and scribbles their names hurriedly, I push the print button on the talker. A slim sheet with my answers emerges from the side. Mr. Deming walks back to where I sit and rips it off. He doesn't look at me. We're done here, he tells the class. Your parents were told what time to pick you up, but if anyone has a problem with the ride, let me know. I won't leave the building until everyone has safely left the school grounds. I'm the last one out. I know my mom will probably come in to get me, but I want to leave my own power. I turn my chair and wheel around the door. Melody, Mr. D calls. I spin back around. I hope you are not discouraged by all this. I was only to protect you from being hurt. I'm okay, I tell him. I'll be announcing the scores and the members of the team tomorrow. I just don't want you to be disappointed. I understand. Then I ask him, top 8 scores get picked? Yes, 4 team members and 4 alternates. I am tired and I've started to drool a little. I'm sure he thinks I'm a sloppy one at that. I feel like the red stain on my blouse is screaming. Okay, good night. Good night, Melody. See you tomorrow. And you might want to wipe your mouth. I rub my sleeve on my shirt across my lips, the tomato-stained shirt. I can imagine what he's thinking. I almost bump into my mom as she hurries in. How did you do, sweetie? She asked. Okay, I guess. To Mr. D, she says, thank you for giving her the opportunity to participate. Pleasure, Miss Brooks. Melody is a delight, and I'm amazed she's able to achieve as well as what she has. Yeah, right. A delight with a drippy lips and a dirty shirt. Oh, Mom, I type. I need to go to the bathroom, and I want to go home. Chapter 21. Going to the bathroom at school just plain stinks. I have to be taken out of my chair, lifted into the toilet, and held there so I don't fall. Then someone has to wipe me when I'm finished. It's not so bad when it's Mom. But it's awful when the classroom aide has to do that for me. She's required by law to wear plastic gloves. I guess in case I have some kind of infection or disease. It's completely embarrassing. I don't usually have to go first thing in the morning, but I'm so nervous on Tuesday I ask to be taken twice. Then I go to all my inclusion classes. The students who tried out for the quiz team can't stop chatting about the test. I listen to every word. I couldn't believe how easy it was, Connor boasts. I bet I got a higher score than you did, Claire says, her voice cocky. I thought the geography questions were off the map. Rose adds, I've never heard some of these questions or of those. I've never heard of some of those countries. Jessica shakes her head. The math part wasn't much fun either. I can't believe we even care about a dumb test for a quiz team, Rodney comments. Because the competition is on television, man, Connor replies. Big time TV coverage here in town. And if we make the finals, we go to DC, where it will be televised all over the country. If we win, Get to be on Good Morning America. My grandma in Philly can watch me, and my auntie in Frisco. I'll be famous. What do you mean, if we win, Connor? Claire asked him. Don't you mean when we win and when we stomp the competition? Yeah, for sure. I already bought a new suit for when I'm on TV. Rose rolls her eyes. I thought this was a team contest, Connor, she reminds him. Hey, the team would be nothing without me. He holds his hand up in the air for high fives. I listen quietly from the back of the room when the bell indicate that it's time for Mr. Deming's class. My palm is sweaty. Catherine pushes me to the room and whispers into my ear, relax, you rock. Mr. Deming gets the class quiet and takes attendance. Why do teachers go slowly when you want something from them? Finally, he removes a sheet of paper from his briefcase. I graded your quiz team last night, and since many of those who tried out for the competition are in this class, I'm going to share the results with you now. The teachers of other class students who tried out have been given the same list and are at this moment reading the results to them. So read the list, Connor shouts, getting up from his desk. If classroom behavior were a determining factor for making the team, Connor, you might be in trouble. He says, please quiet down for a moment. That shuts him up, and he sits heavily. First of all, I'm very proud of all of you who took the test. It was quite challenging. You did extremely well. Rose raises her hand. Yes, Rose? Can we see the questions and answers later so we know where we messed up? Absolutely. As a matter of fact, we'll use this test as a learning tool to study for the real competition, but anyone is free to test and check their responses. Please read the names, Connor says, as politely as I've ever heard him. Mr. Deming smiles. Okay, will do. I shall read the alternates first. 2 fifth graders, 2 sixth graders. Amanda Firestone, Molly North, Elena Rodriguez, Rodney Mosul. My heart falls to my shoes, which is not quite to the floor, but close. How could I have missed so many questions? Maybe my thumb slipped and I pushed the wrong letters. Catherine squeezes my hand. Molly and Rodney screech with joy. Amanda, Elena, and 6th graders. Connor is noticeably quiet. Molly and Rodney, and now, Mr. Deming continues, the names of the 4 students who scored the highest will represent our school at the local competition downtown. The alternates will accompany them and will be called upon if any of the team members are unable to participate in any way. Are we ready? Ready, Connor says softly. I notice his fingers are crossed behind his back. I'm proud to report all 4 are from this classroom. He pauses. To know all the finalists are from the 5th grade blows me away. Way to go. We torched 6th grade? Awesome, Rodney says. Now for Connor, what's his pants? Connor reaches over and smacks Rodney on the back of the head. Mr. Deming takes a deep breath. The top 4 scorers and members of our quiz team will be Connor Bates. Connor interrupts him with a wild cheer, of course. And if I may continue, Mr. D says over his glasses, we're also pleased to welcome Claire Wilson and Rose Spencer. Claire's smile is smug. But that's only 3, Connor says, looking around in confusion. I can count, Connor. Mr. Deming replies dryly. So who's the last person on the team? Molly asks. Earthquake report. TV weather guys feel some strange activity coming from a local school. Could it be a girl's heartbeat pounding too hard? Mr. Deming clears his throat. I must apologize. I think we all have underestimated a member of our class. Earthquake report. Big one. In my 15 years of running this competition, I have never had a student make a perfect score on the practice test. It is designed to be challenging, to weed out the weaker candidates. In a word, it's hard. Tell me about it, Connor mumbles. When Melody Brooks took this little practice quiz with us last week, I thought it was a lucky accident that she did so well. But yesterday, Melody blew us all away. She got every single question right. He paused, making sure everyone is taking this in, and then he says, all of them. Earthquake report. Walls are tumbling everywhere. So she's on the team? Rose asked, disbelief in her voice. Yes, she's on the team. But we'll look weird, Clayton counters. Everybody will stare at us. I'm not going to have any kind of that talk. Do you understand? Mr. D says sternly. I'm very proud of Melody. I regret underestimating her, and I'm glad to have her on our team. Earthquake report. Call the paramedics. A girl in 5th grade is about to explode. Everybody in the class turns to look. Catherine gives me a hug. Rose flashes a smile, and I try not to kick and dip my teammates. Sorry that they'll be on the same team with me. Kids, folks, be cool with Melody? Molly asks. Mr. Deming looks thoughtful. I'll contact the quiz team officials and let them know about our special circumstances, he says. But that's no concern. Now listen up. Team members will meet every day after school for 2 hours for the next 2 weeks, right up until the competition. Practice sessions are mandatory. Here's paperwork for your parents to read and sign. I need it back tomorrow. Earthquake report. Expect big aftershocks. Nothing like this has ever been seen before. The more I think about it, I get television, pressure, people looking at me. I can feel myself getting tense and tight. My arms and legs start doing the tornado spastic dance. My head jerks. I try not to, but I screech just a little. Everybody turns at the sound. I can see Molly and Claire jerking their hands, kicking their legs, and making crazy noises. A few people giggle. Mr. Deming's face grows tight. I aim all my energy at my thumb and point. Catherine gets the message and hurries me out of there. I want to find a hole and hide in it. Chapter 22. This will be our last chapter. The next 2 weeks were a whirlwind. In spite of my little display of weirdness that Tuesday in class, I showed up to practice on Wednesday afternoon as if nothing had happened. All right, I'm going to start over. Chapter 22. The next 2 weeks passed in a whirlwind. In spite of my little display of weirdness that Tuesday in class, I showed up on Wednesday afternoon as if nothing had happened. Maybe nothing had. I had just been me. I'm not sure about the others, though. What the others thought. They said nothing about it. So like all the other team members, alternates, I stayed every day after school to practice from 3:30 to almost 6 o'clock. Did I skip a chapter or something? Gotcha. Okay. So like the other team members, alternates and regulars alike, I stayed every day after school to practice from 3:30 to almost 6 o'clock. I still couldn't get over the fact I was part of the team. Okay, truth. There was the team, and then there was me. And we were in the same room. But we weren't quite a team. They appreciated the fact that I usually got the answers right, but Mr. Deming gave us multiple choice questions to answer. I had to think only for a moment. Then hit the computer on my machine. But lots of preparation involved fast and furious back and forth discussions, and I had trouble adding anything to what was being said most of the time. One of the longest one-syllable words in English language is screeched, Connor announced one afternoon. He chopped raspberry Twizzler. That's a good word for melody, Claire said as she snatched his candy and took a bite. I couldn't respond, and nobody else bothered to. What do you call that dot over the letter I? Alina asked the group. I knew the answer, but it took me too long to spell out the word. Amanda answered it quickly, like the brain of a fifth grader. Oh, snap, said Rodney. I had planned to type snap when she said that too, but I was too slow. The group had already zoomed on to another question. Gee, they talk fast. Who was the first child born to the American colonies? Rose asked, reading the stack of 3x5 cards in her hand. Virginia Dare, Elena answered. Okay, my turn. She flipped through her own cards, color-coded. Who was the first Miss America? That's dumb, Connor said. They're not going to ask stupid girls stuff like that. You don't know the answers. You don't know the answer? Claire asked him. Of course I know, Connor replied with a snort. Margaret Gorman, 1921. She was 16 and probably looked better than you. What is Pedilocchius? Without missing a beat, Rose answered. When you've got a scalp full of head lice. Ew, do you know what that from a personal experience? Of course not. I was just looking for a hard word, Rodney told her. He and Connor didn't laugh at that time. You want a hard word? I've got one, Amanda told the group. What is a hexadactylism? That seemed all of them for a minute, so I had time to tap on the number 6, followed by the word fingers. Then I pushed to play so they could all hear my answer. Good job, Melanie, Alina said. How's she know all this stuff? Claire whispered to Rose. She's smart, Rose said, flipping through more cards. But she'll look odd on TV, don't you think? Claire continued, as if I couldn't hear her. For her. I had typed a couple of things the night before, so all I had to do was push a button. TV makes a lot of people look funny, I had the machine say. Maybe even you, Claire. Oh, he's got stuff, Connor hooted. Good one, Melody. If I could have danced. But as quickly as that moment happened, it disappeared. The team zipped on a rocket-paced speed, feeding off another skill. At the rate they were going, there was no way I could jump in quick enough. I listened, however, and remembered it all. What's the only rock that floats? Pumice. How many chromosomes does a human have? 46. What is the first state to allow a woman to vote? Wyoming. What's Mr. Deming's first name? Wallace. We all cracked up at that one. Every prep session, Mr. Deming gave us another official quiz from national headquarters. Since those always consist of multiple choice questions, well, but I wanted to be like the rest of the team as we studied. On Thursday, in the middle of the practice session, Rose's mom ordered pizza for everyone and had it delivered to the school. Your mom rocks, Connor said. You're easy to please, Connor, Rose replied with a laugh. Everybody rushed to get the hot, spice-smelling slices from the box. I wanted them, but I just sat there. Don't you want some pizza? Asked me. I'll go get a slice for you. She never said much during the practices, but she took lots of notes, and she usually scored pretty high on our practice quizzes. Not hungry, I typed. How could I explain to her that without Catherine or my mom or Miss V, I wasn't able to eat? I had to be fed like a baby, and I made a mess even with them. When my mom came to pick me up, she asked me if I wanted to stop by a Pizza Hut on the way home. I just shook my head. Okay, we're going to stop there. So think about the question. Ask, what does Melody learn about working with others as she prepares for the quiz team competition? What does she learn about herself? So go ahead and type your answer in the chat on what you were thinking about for that question. Yeah, she is very self-conscious of her own actions and the way she appears to other people. I don't think that the competition practices are going quite like she imagined. Um, I think she was really hopeful for what it was going to be like, and then it's a little bit more challenging. Abby says she learns that working with others is helpful, all the help that she can get from her class. She is, although she's not able to participate, she is still continuing to learn, which is good and will be helpful for the quiz competition, I think. Anybody else? My screen keeps getting dark with the light. Jonah says she learned that you have to be fast with the team, catch up quickly. Right. Think about your own when we do group work at school. Do you see anything similar here as far as like, are you someone that's participating and helping out or, and if you're not, sometimes you kind of get behind, right? And I feel like we can relate to Melody sometimes that we're working with people that are working really fast and getting this done, and we're still trying to catch up. Lauren says, I'm hopeful that her classmates will get used to her and learn to appreciate her as a teammate member. Yeah. It was cool to see the girl ask her if she wanted some pizza. She didn't assume she couldn't eat. You know, she wanted to help if she could. All right. So our next reading will be this Friday at 10 a.m. We have just 10 chapters left, and I think there's 5 read alouds left. Fridays. Am I right? Let me check my calendar. So I want to make sure we get the book done. Okay, so this Friday, and then we'll have Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So that's 4, and then the 18th will be our last read aloud. And we should. That's if we don't get the book done before. If we get the book done before, we'll stop just because we're really close to the end of the school year. Kamari says Melody likes her class and she feels great in her class and she feels so happy for the quiz competition. She does feel very happy for the quiz. Angel says, I hope that she has a good time. So if everything goes to plan, we have 10 chapters left, hopefully read 2. We should be done before the 18th. So we're getting close on it. I hope you guys are liking the book. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. we'll have our Zoom meeting. So be on the lookout for information for that on Bloom's. And I look forward to seeing everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Sorry about the technical difficulties that we had. I will delete that other video since we started over on the chapter on this one. So it's good to see you guys. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.